Okay, so starting with the first construction, these are called geometric constructions. They're actually pretty highly tested on the EOC. Like there'll be several problems on this. They're easy to get right as long as you've done this before and you kind of know the steps and the ideas behind it. We are going to start with congruent segments. Congruent means same shape, same size, and then segments is just part of a line that has two endpoints. So I've made a visual here. Congruent segments are just two segments. This little tally means that they're the same length. It shows that this is 3 centimeters, this is 3 centimeters, and they are congruent. Okay, so with that, we are going to start our first construction here. They have segment A, B. I'm going to zoom in as well. They show segment A, B right here, and we are going to create a segment that is congruent to that. Now we're not going to measure it like this, like you've done in the past. We're going to do it a little bit of a different way. We're actually going to be following these instructions here. So if it's helpful for you to like read instructions, they're right there. I'm also going to show it, of course. So the first instruction to making a segment congruent to this is use a straight edge. So use your ruler to draw a segment longer than the given segment. So we're going to use our straight edge and we're just going to draw a segment longer than the given segment AB. Okay. Then it says label a point R at one end of the new segment. So this right here, point R. So I drew a segment using my straight edge, and yes, I can tell if you're not using the straight edge, so use the straight edge. Point R, right. Okay, next step. Place the compass tip at point A and measure to B. So you're going to have to adjust this. So mine's a little tight. I'm going to have to loosen it a little bit so I can adjust it to be the exact same distance from A to B. This. Remember, adjusting it might also mean like lengthening your pencil so it'll reach too. So A to B, I may get that exact opening. And then I'm going to make a mark on point B like this. And then using that same length, I'll put it on R. Thank you, Zoe. And make this mark. So I measured from A to B. I had to adjust this. I had to like even loosen it a little bit because mine wouldn't adjust. I made a mark on point B like this, and then put it on R and make that same mark. And then where that intersects, I'm going to label it point S. So again, I measured from A to B, and then put this on R, and made a mark on point S. And I can say that segment AB is congruent to RS. And then the last step, it says to erase the excess segment. Leave that up to you. But if you erase the excess, then it's the exact same. So as you can see, this is actually more precise than even using a ruler. Okay. We're going to do this again. I'll walk through the steps again. So for number one, we're making a segment congruent to AB. So our first step is to use the straight edge to make a segment longer than AB. Label the endpoint right here R. And then I'm going to measure from A to B and adjust it so it's that same width. So smaller. Ooh. Hold on. I'll get it. So I that you can. We need to give you a pass of the rest. Okay. Kira, just come in quickly. So we're measuring from A to B. So just adjust it so it's that same length. And then put it on R and make that same mark. So I adjusted it so it's the exact same length from A to B. I made a mark on point B and put it on R, made that same mark. And then that intersection I'm labeling point S. So AB is congruent to RS. And then it says to erase the excess. Okay, number 2, we need a segment longer than the original. So I draw a segment longer than the original. Label the endpoint R. Then the next step is to use a compass to measure from A to B. So I need to expand it a little bit to make it that same length. And then make a mark on B. And then using that same measurement, I put it on R, and make the same mark. So measure from A to B, make this mark on point B, put it on R, same mark. And this is point S. So AB is congruent to segment RS. And then 3, we're going to do the same thing. You get behind, it's hard to get caught by yourself. That's third one, I'm going to do the same thing. Start with a segment longer than the original for number 3. So using a straight edge, make a segment longer than the original. Label the endpoint R. Then I'm going to measure from A to B, so just adjust it so it's that same length. Remember, if you're having trouble adjusting it, you can loosen or tighten the screw. Or if these aren't about the same length, it'll be kind of tricky, so you might want to adjust them so they're about the same length. Mark on point B, and then put this on R, and make a mark right here. And then label this S. Segment AB is congruent to RS. Okay, number 4. Segment longer than the original. Label this R. Take your compass and measure from A to B, make it the same length. Make a mark on B. Then put it on R, make the same mark. Label this S and erase the excess. AB is congruent to RS. So how in the world might they test this on the EOC? They're not going to have you break out a compass and a ruler, but they might show you this construction and say, what is it? Like, what are you constructing? And you'd have to recognize that as congruent segments. Or they might say what parts are equal. You would say like segment AB is equal to RS. Or they might have like part of the steps and ask you what the next step is how they asked it. So there's different ways that they can test it without you having to draw it. But by drawing it, you'll be able to answer the random questions that they could ask. Okay, I'm going to go around and check that everybody has this page done before we move to the next page.